So the men's 800 meters final, the next event on the track, and will this be competitive or what? And there you can see the full field, and it would seem Clayton Murphy goes out there, and he is a non-starter, Clayton Murphy, by the looks of things. Clayton Murphy, the Olympic bronze medalist from Rio last year, who tried to go for the 800 and 1500 double at these championships, looked very tired in the 1500 final last night. That was his third race of the championships, and he didn't make the 1500 team, and he's not going to make the 800 team. So he has really misjudged things this year. He won't be in London. That is unbelievable when he's been in such good form. Well, it opens things up dramatically for the 7 men that are out there, 8 men that are out there. Well, 7 men, excuse me. Drew Piazza goes in lane 1. Abraham Alvarado in lane 2. He's been a bit of a surprise package. Eric Sawinski, bronze medalist last year's World Indoor Championships, goes in 3. Isaiah Harris is in 4. Donovan Brazier in lane 5. So frustrated to not make the Olympic team last year, the youngster. Brazier in 5. Drew Windle is in lane 7. And Charles Jock in lane 8. And this is a very open race now without Murphy out there. If he had just put all his eggs in this one basket and gone for the 800, he'd have been an outstanding favourite. But he's not even there. So we're down to 7 in the men's 800 final. And it could be anybody's race, and Sawinski likes to take it out fast. He likes to make it quick, honest if you like, although with his swirling wind in this Hornet Stadium, that does change the equation slightly, because as he comes into the home straight now, he'll be running quite a strong wind, and everybody else behind him is sheltered to some degree.
Well, I think I like what Sawinski's doing. I think he's shown he's very strong this year, and Brazier and Jock have not looked like themselves. They have not run their 143, 144 this year. So Sawinski, to me, if he really truly thinks he has that strength to withhold this lead, I think he's running the right race.
Sawinski leads them through in 51.32. It's pretty quick. Brazier on his shoulder, looking very smooth indeed. Charles Jock in 3rd place as they head down the back straight. Now Brazier making his move, an aggressive move too. That's a big surge. Sawinski can slot into his slipstream, maybe get dragged round this final bend as they head into the final 200 now. It's Brazier pumping hard. The young man who last year ran fantastically fast at collegiate level for Texas A&M and then couldn't reproduce that form at the Olympic trials. He didn't get out of the first round, but he leads into the straight here now, and he's got a 3-meter lead over Sawinski, and they come into the straight, and fabulous form here from Brazier as he drives hard down the home straight. They're moving quickly as they come towards the line. It's Brazier who's going to take this one, and Brazier there winning very comfortably indeed. Goodness
Harrison
me.
2nd, Windle in 3rd. Big kicks from behind for the 2 and 3.
Well, 144.14 for Donovan Brazier. That makes up dramatically for the failings at the Olympic trials last year. Isaiah Harris taking 2nd place, 144.53. Drew Windle, 144.95. And Eric Sawinski there, 145.39. Finishing in 4th place and run out of a place in the team. That's desperately frustrating for Eric Sawinski. But great running for Brazier, Harris and Windle, who are on the plane for London. Windle there in the yellow, punching the air as he crosses the line, knowing that 3rd place is good enough.
Great to see Brazier back, seeing Isaiah look better than he's ever has. Oh, I guess this season he kind of looked flat in the middle of the season, now finishing strong in the end. But Drew Windle, he's a D2 guy, Division II, so a smaller school college guy here in the States, looking great.
144.14 for Isaiah Harris, for Brazier there ahead of Isaiah Harris, and Drew Windle also under 145. Sawinski front running his way to 4th place, but it wasn't the right tactic on the day. Middle distance event, it's the men's 1500 meters final, and what a strong lineup we have here. It includes, of course, the Olympic champion from Rio, Matthew Centrowitz. He is one of 12 men, in fact 13 men in this final, because one athlete was added after some controversy in the semi-finals. But Matthew Centrowitz starts as outstanding favourite here. He's been in very good form recently. That gold in Rio last year, the first US gold in the 1500 for 108 years. Matthew Centrowitz in very good shape, started his season with a 3:34 win in Oregon. And now a personal best for him. Might not come in this race, but he's a 3:30 man, and on paper is the quickest in the field. So that is significant. He has those extra gears should they be needed. Clayton Murphy Very, very consistent racer, very cool customer. Took that bronze in Rio in 1:42.9, one of the quickest Americans in the history. Indeed, he's the third fastest American ever at 800 meters. And that speed will be a real threat in what is likely to be a slow tactical race. Ben Blankenship, I wonder if he'll be the first to lose patience and go.
He sort of can be known for that. I mean, especially in a championship race.
Well, I can't see anybody taking it up really hard from the gun. I'd love to be proved wrong in this sort of situation. To the extreme left of picture, and Jordan McNamara in the blue. And going straight to the front there, Craig Engels, the 24-year-old who was fourth in the 800 last year's US Olympic trials. He has good 800 speed too. He does,
and he is a big hope for American distance running. I think he has a lot of poise when he's racing. You know, last year in the Olympic trials, he had a couple missteps with the group, and I think that might have cost him a chance at the team. But he was fourth in the 800 meters, fifth in the 1500 meters. Clearly can double very well.
Johnny Gregorek moving down the outside there. Same name as his father, who was a 352 miler back in the 80s. We haven't mentioned Robbie Andrews yet. He could be a threat. He was a 2016 Olympian, disqualified in his semi-final in Rio last year for stepping over the curb. But as a former 800-meter runner, we know Robbie Andrews has a fantastically powerful finishing kick. So this will be one for the ages, I'm sure. Very slow opening circuit there in this men's 1500 meters. Nobody prepared to push it along as we expected. And now the racing is on. We're into the final 600 meters. Centrowitz from Blankenship. Murphy is covering every move now. So too there is Robbie Andrews on the inside in fourth place. And behind them, Craig Engels, the new man on the US middle distance running scene, as they come towards the bell this time. The Olympic champion Centrowitz on the inside. From Blankenship, a big kick there from Blankenship, tries to wrestle control back from Centrowitz, and he does get the lead. And these two have moved well away. Clayton Murphy might be running on tired legs. They've got to jump on the rest of the field as they go through with 300 meters to run.
Yeah, Clayton Murphy does not look like he's in great position right now. You see Robbie Andrews there in fourth. He's the one that you want to watch with the kick. And Craig Engel closing up that gap.
So 200 meters to run now. Blankenship from Centrowitz, Engels, Robbie Andrews in fourth place. Clayton Murphy clearly running on very tired legs. Roddy's going past him. He's not going to be a factor now as they bunch at the front end there. And Blankenship, has he got a problem here? Because he's had bodies come past him over the last 150, and he's going backwards now. And it's Centrowitz in control down the home straight as Robbie Andrews kicks for home. He's got the 800-meter speed, and he's going to complete a surprise here as Robbie Andrews takes the win from Matthew Centrowitz. Brilliant, brilliant running from Robbie Andrews. A real surprise there with that burst from 50 meters out to beat Centrowitz, the Olympic champion, who maybe was caught napping. Should have gone maybe a little harder, a little sooner, Matthew Centrowitz. It came down to raw speed as opposed to speed endurance. And on that front, maybe Robbie Andrews has the beating of Matthew Centrowitz. Johnny Gregorek takes third place. I know his dad will be punching the air with celebration for Johnny Gregorek. His father was a great miler. His son is a fabulous miler as well. Craig Engels so close to a team spot in fourth place. Serratos in fifth, McNamara in sixth, and Murphy and Blankenship can only lick their wounds.
Yeah, he really went hard for it. He tried for it. But Robbie Andrews is the guy that has that amazing closing speed. He hasn't had the year he wanted, but clearly he's in great form going into London.
Well, that is a title-winning finish from Robbie Andrews. International title-winning finish maybe from Andrews to outkick Matthew Centrowitz there. Good running from Engels, just misses out on the team spot. And of course it was John Gregorek who came through there down the outside, just out of shot to take third spot. Very, very tight indeed. Just 2/100ths of a second between Gregorek and Engels. There is the team, Andrews, Centrowitz and Gregorek for the London World Championships. Engels just missing out. It was very tight indeed. Christian Serratos, who'd have thought he'd be so close to a London team spot. McNamara in sixth place there. Well, the men's 3,000-meter steeplechase final is next up. 14 athletes out there. And the outstanding favourite, it has to be said, is Evan Jager, the Olympic silver medalist from Rio last year. There is Jager, 28 years old now. He combines great strength with really good speed. He is a world-class 5,000-meter runner. He's a 3:32 man at 1,500 meters. That's worth about 3:50 for a mile. And he is a great hurdler too. Hillary Bohr, Kibenye, Cowart and Schrader. That is the field as they get underway in the sunshine over on the back straight, top of the back straightaway. Evan Jager with his hair in a bun there to the second to right. So we look at them now from behind in the red vest. Easy to spot. He's about the tallest man in the field. 7.5 laps of the track with a total of 28 hurdle jumps, 4 on each lap. The barriers are 3 feet high and very unforgiving when you hit them. Although there is no water jump on this first lap, and then they hit the water jump for the first time on the second lap. So Schrader it is who leads, and looking comfortable too at the front. Now Jager hits the front as they approach the penultimate water jump. Clears that one nicely, and he begins to stride now, really attacks his first stride coming off the water there to Evan Jager. 500 meters to run. Bohr responds into his slipstream, so does Beyer, Andy Beyer, looking very strong indeed in third place. And Kibenye there in fourth as Haran Lagat is struggling to go with this surge from Evan Jager. In the space of 100 meters, he's ripped apart a little group that look very comfortable indeed. Evan Jager with 350 meters to run. Now the game is on. Andy Beyer in second place.
Keep your eye on Andy Beyer in second place. He was the guy that 2 years in a row finished fourth. He really wants to be on a U.S. team.
Well, there's 4 of them away. Kibenye on the outside moves into second place. Hillary Bohr chasing him hard. Surely not deja vu for Andy Beyer. There's 4 of them away. Huge gap behind this quartet as Evan Jager, with 200 meters to run now, begins to stride out strongly. Looks more like a 1,500 meter runner, does Evan Jager, as he approaches the water jump for the final time. Get this one right. Negotiates that well. And there's a big stumble there from Kibenye as Andy Beyer is unable to take advantage behind the 2 former Kenyans. And it's Evan Jager, the final jump for him. Kibenye and Bohr. Bohr holding Andy Beyer on the inside there. Is he going to get there? I don't think he is. It's Evan Jager who's going to take the title. And look at the time. And Andy Beyer finishes in fourth place again. It's so cruel. Kibenye and Bohr second and third. Beyer in fourth. And then Haran Lagat just out-dipping Cabral there, I think, for fifth and sixth. And Erb in seventh. And the rest of them coming home across the line.
Or the first turn, excuse me, with 400 meters to go. And he must have said, wait. And then he just took off.
Well, there was absolutely nothing Andy Beyer could do. There is a flag, we understand, so there may be an inquiry as to something that's gone on here in the race today. You can see Kibenye there sprinting hard for the line off that final barrier in the wake of Evan Jager, who won quite majestically with using all that speed and power and grace and racing nous to take the title. Kibenye second, Hillary Bohr third, and Andy Beyer 7/100ths of a second down in fourth place, with Haran Lagat quite a long way back, almost 7 seconds back in fifth place from Don Cabral, Michael Erb and Donny Cowart completing the top 8. Well, the flag, we understand, is not in the lead group. It's not going to affect that result for the top 3 or 4. In any case, Andy Beyer, the Nike athlete, 8:18.90. Great running in these warm conditions after a relatively slow first 4 or 5 laps. Those are quick times. Evan Jager for the Bauman Track Club looking every inch as though he can go perhaps one place better than his Olympic silver medal last year. Although I have to say that the Kenyans have had their championships this weekend, and their steeplechasers are looking in very good fettle.
Well, you know, I think that it's fun to see Evan Jager and what he's doing with American distance running, but Kibenye is this close to his personal best today. He ran 0.02 off of that.
Men's 5,000 meters, the next on the track. Well, an enthralling women's 5,000 meters won by Shelby Houlihan. Which of these 23 men is going to take the men's 5,000? It could well be Ben True. He starts here as one of the favorites, a very fast finisher. The man from Hanover, New Hampshire, 31 years old, now plenty of experience. He has the World Championship qualifying time.
From indoors, Ben True ran 13:06 indoors. With a number of other Americans, he ran in Doha, I guess, 2 weeks ago, was it? Is that 3 weeks ago when you were there? But he was not running well there. He was sick. So I think we're going to see a better performance from him here.
Well, one would expect the opening laps to be fairly slow and dawdling in this 5,000 meters. although the temperature has dropped, nobody will want to set themselves up as the sacrificial lamb. At least you wouldn't expect them to normally. The fastest time in the world this year was set by Mo Farah when he won at the Prefontaine Classic in Eugene back on the 27th of May, just outside 13 minutes. Chelimo, with a lap and a half to run, has picked up the tempo. If anything, he's stretching his lead now. They hit the 1,500 meter start. He's 80 meters ahead of them. As we see, Ben True now, still pushing on hard, leading from Eric Jenkins. Lopez Lomont, Ryan Hill hang on to the back of the three men in front of him. Each of them believing, taking a bit of a gamble, that they can outkick the others. They've forgotten about Chelimo. He comes into the home straight for the penultimate time, but that is the race on for the London spots, the US team spots, as Paul Chelimo comes down the home straight. He's going to hear the bell this time. He really has accelerated over this last couple of laps. Hits the bell there in about 12:09, and his last 800 meters will be particularly impressive. He went through in 11:07, and he's gone through there with about a 61 penultimate lap. Jenkins now has hit the front in second place as Chelimo down the back straight acknowledges the applause from the crowd with 300 to run. But the battle royal going on behind him as we see a quite majestic performance from Paul Chelimo. A little glance over his shoulder and he sees a gap of about 90 meters behind him now as Eric Jenkins in second place sprints away from Lopez Lomont. Ben True, the leader of the pack for lap after lap, in the fourth place, and behind him in fifth place Ryan Hill. But look at the speed of Eric Jenkins around that final bend in second place. He is so fresh, so much speed and power and reserves in those legs. As he comes down the home straight now, the gap is closed about 70 meters. But the time 13:07, the 13:08 there for Paul Chelimo as Eric Jenkins takes second place and Ryan Hill takes third and Ben True misses out yet again. Very, very clever racing indeed there from Paul Chelimo.
Wow. And to see Eric Jenkins, you should see him. He's so thrilled to make that team. He was high-fiving everybody and really closed hard. But Ryan Hill had the kick of the night. Came from fifth. And one by one in that final 100 meters, he really closed hard. But Chelimo, class act tonight, it was his race.
It was indeed, yes, and rightly salutes the spectators, the officials, and the fact that he's taken a US title. 13:08.62, only a few seconds outside his personal best. Paul Chelimo then is US champion for the US Army with 13:08.62 ahead of Eric Jenkins and Ryan Hill. That's the 1-2-3 for the World Championships in London. Ben True just missing out there by just under a second with fourth place. Lopez Lomont 13:21 in fifth place. But Eric Jenkins making his first World Championship team for the USA. Ryan Hill, who is a World Indoor Championship 3,000 meters silver medalist. This field of 24 athletes due to start this men's 10,000 meters. Galen.
Did he run one more? I think he ran his PR at Palo Alto a couple years ago. But, you know, he's slowly but surely coming back into his form. He was fifth last year at the Olympic trials. Very frustrating spot for him. But I think that he is always a threat. I mean, he's such a good athlete that I think he's always a threat.
Well, we shall see. Chris Derrick, of course, US Cup 2 or 3 times a US cross-country champion. There he is in the red and black strip. One of the tallest figures in the race.
It looks like Diego Estrada did do that.
Can anybody break into the big name category and finish in the top 4 or 5 here? Well, they've just gone through 2K in 6:28. It's almost embarrassingly slow in this men's 10,000 meters. Derrick then approaching the bell in this men's 10,000 meters. Hassan Mead on his shoulder. Simbisa in third place. The former Kenyan pairing of Kipchirchir and Korea are there as well. Galen Rupp, the Olympic silver medalist back in 2012, had 5 years later, has he 5 years after those London Games, got the speed in his legs to go with this one. He's the quickest miler in the race, that's for sure. As Hassan Mead now hits the front. Fresh legs from Mead, who looks as though he's not sweating up at all. Can you believe he's got 24 and a half laps of racing behind him in these high Sacramento temperatures?
150 to run. Hassan Mead rolling from side to side, still looking smooth, still looks like he's got an extra gear. Kipchirchir on the shoulder. Correa in third place. Galen Rupp looks beaten. A little glance over the shoulder of Rupp tells the story. But Hassan Mead it is, driving hard down the home straight. Kipchirchir challenging for the win, but he's not going to get it. Hassan Mead is US champion. And Kipchirchir second, Correa third. And I got that final circuit at around 55 seconds. Fabulous stuff. Well, Hassan Mead is the champion. Shadrach Kipchirchir takes second place, just a couple of tenths of a second behind Leonard Correa third. Simbisa, great fourth place. And Galen Rupp in fifth. Result for you now in that men's 10,000 meters final. Hassan Mead 29.01, Shadrach Kipchirchir and Leonard Correa, the US Army pairing in second and third, and Simbisa just outside the team places.